Hello. So I'm running this YouTube channel, and I think I'm going to start making a more in-depth how-to on putting a turbo onto your Sc300. So today, there's a lot going on. So today, I'm only going to discuss. It's going to be part one, and I'm going to discuss engine hard parts. So I think we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. So the first thing you need to do is you need to put on an oil drain. For the Sc300 rear sump, there's a spot here where you can put it. It looks just like this. So for the non-turbo oil pans, this spot was not drilled out and these were not tapped. So what you have to do is you have to drill this hole out and tap on your studs, and then that will let you run one of these onto your block, and that will be your oil drain. Now the issue with this is that you are drilling into your engine. So the best way to do this is to remove the oil pan so that you don't get these shavings in your engine oil. So I'm of course going to tell you, take your engine out or drop the, what's that called? Drop your subframe and take your oil pan down and drill it and then reinstall it. That's the best way to do it. Can you do it without taking your pan off? Maybe. I don't know how. So next step, we're moving up. We're going to go to the block. So if you have a Sc300 that has a distributor, all Sc300s in the United States are non-turbo. So we're not talking about GTE engines. We're only talking about GE engines. So if your Sc300 has a distributor, you have these thick rods. So theoretically, you can run just as much horsepower and boost as a Supra. If your engine has VVTi, like this one here, then you have skinny rods. So I would suggest not going over 500 horsepower, 14 PSI. 14 PSI works out really good because that's what the JDM ECU's natural boost cut is anyway. So that works out pretty good. And let's see what we got next. Moving up, you can put on a thicker head gasket if you want. That will lower the compression ratio, let you run a little bit more boost. I don't really think it's necessary to open it up if you don't have to. You got that. So here we have a couple options. So this will affect your intercooler. This is your front-facing intake manifold. So you can get an aftermarket front-facing intake manifold. And it's over here on the right side. It's really cool. You get great access to the spark plugs. You get great access to your fuel rail and your injectors. That's great, but you got to put it on. The other way is to leave it stock, and it would look. You'd have this. You'd have the standard crossover. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how mine is, and it works great. And it's fine. Let's see. Here we are. This is better for me because in this area is my onboard recording. All right, so you can do front-facing intake manifold if you want to. You don't have to. Here is the fuel pump I'm running. Works great. Haven't had any issues of it. It does come with a bare wire, so be able to solder that to your existing plug. I have not had any issues running this with the turbo, with the standard Sc300 fuel pump ECU. It switches from low voltage to high voltage. I've had no problems with running this one. Your intercooler piping. So of course, you want to go as cheap as you can, but pay attention. This is a CX Racing intercooler piping kit, and what this does is, you can see here, is this is set up for a MAF system, manifold airflow. I forgot, but yeah, this is a MAF system. This is not what you want to do. Don't run MAF. It's no good. MAP's no good. You want to run MAP, manifold absolute pressure. So you have to buy a MAP sensor, which we will use in conjunction with the JDM Aristo ECU. It's MAP and intake air temperature sensor based. So if you get a kit like this, it's got some good bends to it, but you will probably have to buy a supplemental kit. So this one is attractive because it's same side. So, you've got your turbo hot side piping, and then you've got your cold side piping, and they're on the same side. So this is non-front facing intake manifold. If we look at this is for a front facing intake manifold. This is not going to fit on your crossover manifold. So keep that in mind when you buy a kit. I bought this kit and then I supplemented with some other eBay kit. Worked fine. But yeah, so here's one. XS Power has a turbo kit. So you can see here, this intercooler is a same side intercooler. The exit is on the same side as the entrance. And then this is an opposing side intercooler. So if you have a front FFIM, you're going to run this. If you're doing crossover, you're probably going to want to stick to something like this. So your turbo kit, as far as your downpipe, turbo, and manifold, that's something you're just going to have to source. You can buy a kit. There's plenty of these 2JZ manifolds. Those are a lot, and then they go to T4, and then your T4 turbo option, there's a lot to choose from. I don't know that much about turbos. I can't recommend one for you. But Drift Motion has a lot of good stuff. So we need to feed the oil turbo. So that's where this comes in play. This is the IS300 Union bolt. So here's your air oil filter. This is off of a turbo block. So your NAT will look a little bit different. But basically, we're going to take out this big bolt on the Sc300 side, and we're going to put in the IS300 bolt. The IS300, this is where it gets its oil pressure switch from. So this switch determines whether you have enough oil pressure or light. This makes your red oil light indicator come on the dash. And they had to move it because this is where it is on the Sc300 block with the distributor. It's down here. But then they got rid of the distributor. They added VVTI, so they needed oil pressure, high flow as well to run the VVTI. So they took it from here, and so they had to move the oil pressure switch into here. So you stick this on, and then you can get one of these if you decide to move your oil pressure switch to the top or not. So what's important about it though is that this is not NPT threads. These are BSP threads. So this particular thing, so this is like if you want to run some kind of auxiliary oil pressure sensor or switch, you might not need this, but the top one is BSP, the female, bottom is BSP male, the middle here is NPT. So a lot of your oil feeds will have NPT, and you can just get a BSP to NPT adapter. You can get that as well. Let's see if we've got any of the notes here. Yeah, you'll need fuel injectors, right? So you will need some 440 cc is what the JDM Aristo is expecting. High impedance, top feed. There's a lot of those online you can find from. I bought mine from Oside Tiger, and they came with these adapters to fit the existing harness. I think that's it for part one. If there's any questions you have or anything you would like clarified on, or hey, hit this again, just leave a comment and I'll make a part 1A. And that's it. I'll see you in the next part.